What up though? They call me Zero, and today we're gonna rank the top semiconductor stocks. Mind you, these are just stocks that I picked because I know them, I have analyzed them. I know there are other big companies, but I don't know much about them, so I'm not gonna lie to y'all and rank them if I don't have a real opinion on them. A quick explanation, we go from S to E tier, S tier being the best, and a little spoiler, we're not gonna need an E. Obviously I analyze these companies because I think they're good companies in the first place, so it's gonna be a bit optimistic. They're mostly great companies with a great future ahead of them. You can skip right to the companies, but I'ma just tell my strategy first because this is how I will be ranking it. Obviously it's my own opinion and I rank them based on my mindset, and it's a pretty simple buy and hold strategy. So I look at these companies and think to myself, where do I see them as a growth potential in the future, let's say 5 to 10 years. On top of that, more specifically, I look at their market share, their market dominance, how much they're leading their market, or are they lacking behind? Spoiler alert, AMD, Intel. Also, like I said, the growth potential, their financials. I'm not gonna talk too much in detail. Pretty much the main thing I look at it is free cash flow, how they're looking, the diluted EPS, and in general also with these tier lists I gotta predict the future. Are they gonna be relevant? Let's get the easy one out of the way. NVIDIA S tier. Anyone who says anything else, they're just a hater. I know the hate around NVIDIA is growing slightly, but let's be real. NVIDIA is the LeBron James, the MJ, the Cristiano Ronaldo, the Messi of semiconductors. It doesn't matter how much hate they get, there's a reason why they're on top. Their financials are great, they're literally the market leader by far, like no one comes even close. So controlling the high-end GPU market is essential to dominate the future of AI. I mean, they have 60 billion in free cash flow. If you look at their recent financial report, 40 billion in revenue. You guys don't understand how crazy that is. Let's compare to their direct rival AMD. They had 7 billion in revenue in Q4. That's absurd. I don't want to waste any more time. Like, if you don't believe Nvidia is S tier, then you don't know what you're talking about and you're just a hater, okay? Let's move on to the second stock, AMD. I talked about AMD a lot already and it's highly debated. I know, is AMD the worst stock ever? Is it a falling knife? Is it advanced money destroyer? Or is there actually hope? For me, A tier. I don't care. I don't care what anyone is saying. AMD is A tier. This is not a falling knife. Don't get fooled by these bearish analysis. They do the same with the stock market in general. They put out this negativity because it sells. There's no reason to think that AMD won't recover. AMD will reach a new all-time high in the future again. I can guarantee that. When that's gonna happen, obviously we don't know. It could be this year, it could be next year, it could be in 5 years. I don't care. Like I said, all these companies are ranked on buy and hold strategies. AMD's GPUs are still improving and they've still seen massive growth in their data center business because they're taking a lot of Intel's market share away. The data center business literally makes up half of their revenue, so that's super important for the future ahead. AMD will release their new AI GPU in the middle of 2025, and when that's gonna happen, I truly believe that we're gonna see a rise in the market. To be honest, it's a difficult topic. Based on my analysis and what I've read, I believe that we're gonna hit a bigger crash towards the end of 2025, so I could see AMD gain growth and then drop again towards the end of 2025, but in 2026 or 7 we're gonna outperform the market again. I'm pretty certain about that. So if I'm so bullish, why is it only A? Why isn't it S? Because obviously that's just for the best, the biggest companies. I don't give away S tier lightly. NVIDIA has that guaranteed. No way, no chance for AMD to even come close. I'm sorry. Even though I'm still bullish on AMD, I don't think they're coming close to NVIDIA anytime soon. Next up, Intel. I already talked about them. They're losing a lot of their market share and it's looking like a hot mess. People talk about AMD being advanced money destroyer. Well, Intel is not intelligent. I'm sorry. Anyway, they're falling behind the market. AMD and NVIDIA are outperforming them massively. There's no way that people are still bullish on Intel. If you are bullish on Intel, I don't know what to tell you. Good luck, I guess, man. I hope the new CEO is making big money moves, but I'm not hopeful at all. I don't think they're gonna catch up to NVIDIA or AMD in general, and obviously the data center business makes up most of the money, so they're just gonna be out there trying to get some crumbs, from AMD and NVIDIA, but I don't believe that there's any hope. Also, if you look at their free cash flow, they've been negative for the past 3 years. That is already the biggest red flag for me. I have them as a D tier. I don't believe in them at all, and for anyone that believes in them, I don't know what you guys are on, but good luck, like I said. Anyway, the reason why it's a D tier is pretty simple. NVIDIA and AMD are literally the better options. Why would I put my money into Intel? Because it's undervalued? Well, NVIDIA and AMD are gonna be undervalued as well. Look at right now, look at the market drop. I don't know when you're watching it, but the S&P 500 dropped over 10%. NVIDIA dropped over 20%. Why would my money be in Intel when I could buy more NVIDIA shares right now? AMD is also already down so much. I can literally keep buying those two companies instead of having my money in Intel and being on that copium like y'all. Up next, we got Broadcom. And I gotta start off by saying this. Look at their free cash flow growth. I mean, I have it on the screen. This is what I'm talking about. Like, if this doesn't get you aroused, I don't know what will. I mean, this is the perfect growing free cash flow that you want to see in a company. Broadcom is actually so underrated. I have them as A tier. I know. It is so tough to rank. I want to put them as I have them above AMD, even though I'm not even invested in Broadcom, but they're looking so attractive. Their financials are great, and the most important thing is nobody talks about them. I feel like they're super underrated. A lot of people are way too focused on even Intel. Like, Broadcom should get way more attention, and luckily they don't. What's important about them is that they're dominating networking chips, Wi-Fi, Ethernet. Is it Ethernet or Ethernet? I don't care. Anyway, and they're making custom silicon for big companies like Apple. Broadcom is pretty much essential to build large AI data centers for all those big companies. So Broadcom ain't going nowhere. They're actually S tier, but I'm sorry, I just can't put them there. I don't know why. I have this itch. Maybe because I don't have my money in them and I don't want to put them in S tier. I don't know why, but A tier they are, and they're pretty amazing. I mean, talking about attractive, we gotta talk about TSMC, man. S tier, I don't care. NVIDIA, TSMC, S tier. Anybody who thinks something else, like, I respect your opinion, don't get me wrong, but you're wrong. You're wrong. These are the best companies. Yes, I have my money in them. I don't care. Call me biased, but TSMC is literally a powerhouse. Without them, nothing's running. Nothing. But what about China? What if China takes Taiwan? Who cares, okay? Who cares if you live like that? Like, just stop. Just stop with this fear-mongering. If China takes Taiwan, we have bigger problems. Your Apple stocks, your Microsoft stock, everything, NVIDIA, everything's gonna go down. Why does it matter if I have my money in TSMC or in NVIDIA? If China takes Taiwan, it's all going down, okay? Think about that, okay? I'll let you think about it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, enough. Let's talk about TSMC a bit more. Free cash flow, great, growing. Yeah, a little more or less, but it doesn't matter. They have a lot of money. They are building a lot of infrastructure in the US as well. And no, they're not scared of China, and they're not building the main facilities still remain in Taiwan. They're not going to change it. That is just super important political power they hold, and they're not going to give that away. But it's great that they're building a lot of infrastructure in the US. Like I said, they're the backbone of Apple NVIDIA, AMD, whatever. So everyone relies on them. If these big companies rely on them, why shouldn't I rely on them with my 5 cents in my pocket? Anyway, they're investing heavily, like I said, in infrastructure, but also their chips, and they've been at it for decades. I recommend you watch a documentary on them because people don't understand how crazy TSMC is. They literally perfected their craft. Nobody's taking away their position in the future. Nobody. No one. I believe in them more than I believe in myself, okay? TSMC is super reliable, going nowhere. Put your money in them. Relax. They're also undervalued a lot of times, even with all these drops, even if everyone's growing. TSMC's not growing enough, man. They're gonna grow though. Don't be scared, don't be fooled. Buy TSMC S tier next. Next up, we got Lam Research. If you haven't heard of Lam Research, check out individual analysis of this company because it's a really underrated and great company. I'll give a brief summary. Lam Research is a powerhouse in the semiconductor manufacturing equipment side. So they're making the equipment and also are profiting massively from the AI boom. I have Lam Research as an A tier stock. Why A tier? Because it's literally just like TSMC, super crucial in the background to build all these chips. They are key supplier for all these chips and they literally supply TSMC. So you can technically say NVIDIA needs TSMC and TSMC needs Lam Research. Technically, you could go further down and down. You will always find companies, but these are like big companies that literally build off each other. If one falls out of this chain, everyone is in a big mess and in big trouble. Knowing that Lam Research plays a crucial part in that, it's quite obvious that it's not gonna go anywhere and that it's gonna grow with NVIDIA and TSMC. The reason why I have it as A tier and not S tier is that even though the financials are great, if you look at the free cash flow, it's been growing, and also right now there's a lot of insider buying, but it still has its China restrictions, meaning they have a lot of export restrictions on high-end equipment, and China, as you might know, is a huge buyer, so that stunts their revenue growth as of today. It's also a cyclical or cyclical, I don't know if it's cyclical in British English or cyclical in American English. Anyway, who cares? It's a cyclical business. Let's focus. And it's heavily exposed to all these memory chip cycles as a lot of other semiconductor stocks as well. So when demand is high, they're killing it. If it's going down, obviously it stunts their growth again. But obviously for us it doesn't matter that much because buy and hold, pretty simple, A tier, guaranteed future growth potential. Last but not least, we have ASML, the Dutch company that people also say TSMC needs ASML and stuff. And even though ASML is a great company, this rating might be a bit controversial. I have it as a B tier company compared to these companies because I just don't see them being better than any of these other companies. And I'll tell you why. It's pretty simple. I'll go straight at it. It's quite overvalued in my opinion. It's priced relatively high, especially in comparison to TSMC and Lam Research. Yeah, NVIDIA is also priced really high, but NVIDIA is NVIDIA. ASML has, just like Lam Research, geopolitical risks. China is one of their biggest customers, and now with all these US and European restrictions and everything going on with China, we don't know. But to be honest, I don't care that much about this part. What I care more about is the slower growth right now compared to all the other companies like TSMC and NVIDIA. They're already priced quite high and their growth isn't expected to be as big as the other companies. So if their valuation would be lower, I would technically put them in A tier, but because they're quite overvalued in my opinion, I only have them in B tier. To sum it all up, as you can see, I have Intel D tier. Ugh, Intel, whoever has their money in Intel, I feel for you. Maybe you're smarter than me. Maybe you know something I don't know, but I don't believe in them one bit. ASML B tier, great company, great fundamentals, but not the best option compared to the other ones. Lam Research, AMD, and Broadcom, A tier. Even though they're in the same category, I wouldn't classify them as the same. I gotta be honest, out of those three, I'm only invested in AMD, but technically speaking, from a company standpoint, I find Broadcom the biggest, Lam Research second, and AMD third. So AMD is mostly because it's super undervalued in my opinion. That's why I put a lot of money in them right now. But as a company and fundamentals and future growth potential, I have Broadcom by far closer to S tier than AMD. S tier, as you can see, quite simple. NVIDIA TSMC. I don't have anything else to say. Like, looking at these companies, looking at NVIDIA and TSMC, I feel like it's kinda unfair how easy we have it. I may sound stupid and you might watch it in like 10 years and these companies go bankrupt. I don't know what happened, but I don't see it, man. It seems like such an easy way to make money, to invest in a company. There's so much upside, barely any risk management going on. It's also super volatile, which I really like because I don't have that much money and I work paycheck to paycheck. That means if Nvidia stocks go down this month, that means I can increase my shares easily. If it's growing slowly but stable, then there's no point for me, man. I don't have that much money. I'm not Warren Buffett. I get my paycheck and then I have to look out for companies that are undervalued right now. And semiconductor companies, technology companies, always volatile. I like it. Keep buying, keep increasing your shares. Anyway, that's it for the stock part of the video. Let's go into the yapping session, man. I have a lot of thoughts. It's sports again, man. My favorite team, Beşiktaş, football, soccer for the Americans. We lost again, man. Our opponent, we're literally the favorites. You gotta think, we're the favorites coming into the game. Our opponents had two red cards, one in the first half, one in the 20th minute, one in the 60th minute or something. They had two red cards. For those who don't know what that means, we're playing against 9 opponents while we're 11. 9 versus 11, and we lost. Make it make sense. Anyway, we have no ambition for this season, so it's not that deep, but still, man, let's keep it going. Anyway, Formula 1 started. I told you in the last video about my hype for Kimi Antonelli. His qualifying, I was like, oh my god, no. Are the nerves getting to him? But no, he proved himself in the rain. What a race. The race itself was really weird because it was super fun, super entertaining, but also boring because it was behind the safety car lot. So you had to literally pay attention, then you were falling asleep, and then pay attention again. It was quite funny. Regardless of that, great race, but my guy Leclerc, not so good. But Hülkenberg points, I like him. Piastri, man, Norris won. I like Piastri, man. Come on, Piastri. Norris, I don't like that much. Verstappen, I'm also not a big fan, but I understand his greatness. Unlike Norris, I don't think he's that good of a driver. If he becomes a champion, man, he's one of the worst champions ever. Anyway, sorry for all the hate, but I gotta be honest. Other than that, I have work. I'll work from home tomorrow. What else? Oh yeah, I gotta do my bachelor thesis soon. I have to apply for that. I don't even know how. A bit of backstory. I'm an immigrant child, man. I have no one. Yeah, I could ask. Okay, I get it. I could ask, but I don't want. I would like to ask my parents, my brother, or someone, but I don't have anyone because I'm the only one studying. I'm the only one going to university. So it's so weird. In general, like, I'm going to university, and as a Turkish fella living in Germany, I don't, see eye to eye. I'm just not feeling it, man. They're nice and great people, don't get me wrong, but they don't speak the same language as me, even though we speak the same language. But you feel me? You know what I'm trying to say? Anyway, we're not on the same wavelength, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. And it's the same at work, man. Imagine going to work. I'm in my 20s, mid-20s, and I'm talking to these 50-year-old German woman with their humor and whatever they're talking about, and I have to smile and be like, yeah, totally, man, totally, I get it. Karen. Anyway, but that's life. We'll tough it out. The stocks are like the stocks, sports, gaming, music, so many hobbies, so much fun. My wife, sorry for only mentioning her once this time, but so much to look forward in a day in life in general. So it's all blessed. We go from day to day. Have a blessed day. Peace.